Hello, guys. We are going to talk about a comedy horror film called The Babysitter from 2017. A lot of interesting things are waiting for you. 12-year-old teenager Cole is in the medical office trembling at the thought of the upcoming injection, considering it a truly hellish ordeal. The bullies, led by Jeremy, are constantly laughing at the boy and bullying him. They mock the fact that the schoolboy is still being looked after by a nanny. At that moment, the very hot Nanny B appears and easily fights back the bullies by puncturing the tires of their bicycles. Then the girl whispers something threatening in Jeremy's ear, and he runs away in terror. B puts Cole in her car and drives him home. The nanny takes care of the schoolboy, as his parents often go out of town for the weekend and leave Cole at home alone. B suggests that the boy have a loud party this weekend, and of course he gladly agrees, while not being able to take his eyes off the alluring parts of the beautiful girl's body. In the afternoon, his father puts Cole in the driver's seat of his car, intending to teach his son the basics of driving. However, the schoolboy feels so insecure that he can't even move, although the man continues to encourage his son. The next morning, Cole goes to school with his pretty neighbor Melanie. The boy says sadly that his parents are leaving town for the weekend again, and the neighbor replies that the teenager's parents love him very much. They just want to retire to a country hotel and have a lot of fun. Melanie is also sure that at night, B will definitely bring her boyfriend to the neighbor's house. If Cole stays awake, he will be able to see a lot of interesting things. At school, Cole notices that B is courting a boy, and he is very jealous. He is sure that the beautiful girl will have fun with this high school student tonight. In the evening, Cole's parents leave, and B comes to the boys' house instead. The two of them party for hours on end and have a great time together. When it gets very late, B tells him that it's time to go to bed and gives him a special drink that will make him fall asleep in 15 minutes. However, Cole is determined to see how the beauty will have fun with the high school student tonight. That's why the teenager pours the liquid into the flour and only pretends to drink it all. In order not to fall asleep, Cole calls Melanie and has a heart-to-heart with his neighbor, promising to tell her everything he sees tonight. Hearing voices from the living room, the teenager sneaks quietly into the room, where he sees that B has brought her friends to his house. She is playing an interesting game with them. Allison, Sonia, Max, John, and the same high school student, Samuel, are sitting on the living room floor. When it's B's turn, she chooses to perform an action, so Max tells her to kiss each of them. Cole watches with open mouth as the beautiful girl kisses all the guests in turn. When it's Samuel's turn, he looks very nervous. B kisses him gently and then suddenly pulls out two sharp objects and stabs him in the head. Cole can't believe his eyes. It turns out that B and her friends are using the boy's blood for some kind of gruesome ritual. After collecting the blood in a bowl, the guys get the Devil's Book, which, according to B, will fulfill any of their wishes. All that remains is to find the blood of an innocent. Realizing that it is him, Cole quickly rushes to his room. The schoolboy calls the police and is about to climb down from the second floor on the sheets, but he cannot overcome his fear, and then jumps into bed and pretends to be asleep. At that moment, the cultists enter his room. Sonia takes out a syringe and draws blood from the boy's vein on the second attempt, and Cole has to make a lot of effort not to give himself away. When the guests leave the room, Cole runs to the window again, but the teenager begins to feel dizzy and faints. Cole wakes up tied to a chair in the living room, surrounded by cultists. B states that she immediately felt unwell and returned to the room. The teenager tries to quietly cut the ropes on his hands with a penknife, but all his actions are reflected in the mirror. At that moment, a police car pulls up to the house. Cole screams and calls for help. Two guys are armed with pistols, and when the cops break into the house, Max eliminates one of them. The second cop shoots Allison in the chest. B eliminates the second cop, and his blood fills John's face. The cultists surround Cole again, and the wounded Allison screams in pain. Cole runs to the second floor, and John chases after him, but slips on a toy car, falling from the second floor and going to the other side. Cole runs into his room and, having no choice, grabs the window. Max almost grabs the teenager, who falls to the ground and hits his back hard. However, Cole is strong enough to run to a small utility room. Nearby, the teenager grabs something that might be useful for self-defense and returns to the basement of his house. Cole trembles with fear when he sees several spiders and mousetraps inside, but still hides under a piece of cloth. Soon, Sonia appears, trying to find Cole. The girl crawls past, but Cole reveals himself by throwing away an approaching spider. The teenager sets off a huge firework, but it flies past the cultist. Cole runs out of the basement and slams the bars behind him, and the powerful explosion of the fireworks sends Sonia into a world of pink unicorns. Max runs outside when he hears a noise outside. Cole runs away and immediately climbs into his treehouse where he spent his entire childhood. The stalker takes his time and smiles devilishly, realizing that the teenager can't hide from him now. Max approaches the house and menacingly approaches his victim. However, the old rotten boards cannot withstand the cultist's weight, and he falls through the floor and dies instantly as the rope wraps around his neck. Angry, B fires a shotgun at Cole but misses. The teenager runs as fast as he can to his neighbor's house and runs through the door that has just opened, stunning Melanie with his appearance. Cole tells the neighbor that he is being hunted by a group of cultists. At this point, B enters the house, so the teenager has to hide. The girl searches the house, but the teenagers manage to hide in the toilet. Cole apologizes for getting Melanie into this terrible situation and tells a neighbor to call the cops while he deals with the psychopathic nanny. Impressed by the boy's courage, Melanie gently kisses the neighbor. The kiss boosts Cole's morale so much that he runs outside and shouts to B that he will beat her in a fair fight. Cole boldly returns to his house, where he is surprised to see that the cultists have put everything in order and cleaned up after themselves. The teenager finds a book of the devil in the kitchen, and at that moment, Allison attacks him. Cole presses hard on the girl's wounded chest, which causes her unbearable pain. The fight continues, and Allison grabs a huge, sharp object, while Cole finds nothing better than a small lighter. Suddenly, B appears, and with a shot from her gun, Allison's head is severely injured. The girl approaches the teenager, who grabs the book and threatens to burn it. B tries to calm him down, saying that she didn't mean to hurt anyone. She only wanted his blood to be shed on the page of the devil's book and fulfill her every wish. Cole is furious when he finds out that the nanny has been using him all along. He sets the book on fire, and B tries to put out the burning pages. The teenager runs out of the house and heads straight for Melanie's father's cool sports car. Cole gets behind the wheel and at high speed literally flies into his house, crushing the psychopath with the car along the way. The teenager finds B, who can barely breathe, and declares that he is very disappointed in the beauty. The girl really wants to return to her friendship with Cole, but the boy is no longer interested, and he leaves. Soon the police and firemen arrive. Cole sits on the sidewalk and is joined by Melanie, who admires her neighbor's courageous actions. She kisses him again. The worried parents appear next, and sigh with relief when they see their son alive and well. The teenager calmly looks at his parents and confidently declares that he no longer needs a nanny. Firefighters are clearing the rubble of the house. One of the men approaches the place where B was supposed to be lying, but she is no longer there. The firefighter returns and is attacked by an angry cultist screaming at him.